Yugioh has a big problem. I think this guy is talking about local game stores. Apparently, they're done selling Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh has a major problem.
Okay, let's see what that major problem is.
And no, I'm not, this isn't like just clickbait, because obviously, there's a little bit of going on with the thumbnail and everything, but I think this is pretty serious. What is this major problem, you ask? I got my glasses on today because this is a studious type of video. There's going to be some numbers in here. There's going to be some thinking in here. It's not just opening and getting hyped, so I had to put the glasses on. Are people quitting the game? Are collectors tired of collecting high rarity cards and putting together binders? Maybe people have finally gotten tired of opening packs? No, it's none of those things. The problem is Konami is printing too many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. How is that possible? You can never have too many Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah, you can. Konami has always put out a ton of new sets, but I think we're actually reaching a tipping point. I started thinking about this problem after the release of the most recent set, Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano. I, as a Yu-Gi-Oh content creator, barely realized when this set was releasing. It snuck up on me like the end of a streaming service free trial. Bam! You owe 20 bucks and you didn't even finish that show you were watching. Crap. I went on about opening this set just like I do any new release, posting 3 videos, and I was going to do the usual live stream opening like I normally do, looking for that rarest card. But I immediately noticed a significant disinterest in the set. No one was watching the first opening I posted, which are usually some of the best on the channel. Secondly,
okay, interesting. So not a lot of people want to watch this particular box. Why? I know that character is like from Brains and he's a Salamangre player, right? But okay, interesting.
A lot of the comments talking about the set were either negative or disinterested. Not particularly excited for this one, but appreciate the love for older archetypes. I'd like to see future legendary duelists that feature a Ghost, Obelisk, or Slifer. Maybe one day we'll get that. Winged Dragon.
Yeah, so that's interesting, right? A lot of people like to tell me anyway that, oh, Reigns is great and I love Reigns, but I think it's very clear in terms of like anime and like which one is king and which one invokes the most feelings of nostalgia, right? It's gotta be Duel Monsters. So, okay. I guess a little insight as to that, maybe. But, yeah.
You're the only ghost rare for some reason.
It's always Battle City.
I've never in my life opened 20 packs and pulled one super rare. Literally was the worst opening I've ever done. I'm not gonna lie, the Legendary Duelist sets don't excite me too much, but instead of getting a box, I'll get a few packs at the store and see what happens. Way to support your locals, man.
Legendary Duelist sets, are they, like, what other sets are they? Legendary Duelists? Okay. Okay, for Mai, Yami, Yugi, Yugioh, Mako Tsunami, the Fishman. Okay. Interesting. They first went over everyone in Duel Monsters almost. Practically everyone. And then they finally went on to Reigns. What's Yugioh? Who's Yugioh? Yugioh is from Arc 5. That's interesting. Okay. It's actually not Mako, it's Nash. Yeah, it's not Mako, right? Yeah, this guy is, Mako was from Duel Monsters. This guy is, Reginald Castle. But then I guess it includes it with alongside him, right? Okay. Well, alright, so I guess people don't really like these sets. Which is a little interesting to me. Especially when you do have like dual monster characters being the primary focus, and it seems like they're moving away from that. But okay. It's multiple dudes. Yeah, it does seem to be multiple.
Seeing all of this, I decided to check the price of the box. Like, what's the going rate for this thing? And I had a bad feeling because Legendary Duelists usually do not do too well in terms of price, which we're going to get to. Currently, it sits at about $35 per box, a ridiculously low amount for a brand new set that released less than a month ago. But this isn't unique for the Legendary Duelist sets. In 2021, Konami released Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm. This set had a similar trajectory in price, currently sitting at about $39 per box. Oh, but Legendary Duelist Duels from the Deep released in 2022 must have been better, right? How about way worse? This box is a whopping $25 per box. An entire box of 36 packs for $25.
Wow, nobody's buying these. And honestly, I don't know if I can really blame them, because I don't know if people would want, like, Are they are in these boxes? Are there supposed to be like new support for older archetypes, or are they supposed to be like, I don't know? Are there a lot of reprints and there's just not that many new support? These packs are kind of ass. The singles are way better to buy than the boxes. Kairyu-shin, if you want to call it support, you're correct. Packs equals money just for droplets. So like, but what I'm asking is majority of the cards like old stuff, and then like maybe for high rarities they have like the new support? Is that how that goes? Just a little bit of new support? Yeah, then it makes sense. It's like not many exciting new cards. It only caters to people, very specific people who play specific decks, and the things that they want are high rarity, and if they're high rarity, people don't want to buy them, right? Is that my understanding? These boxes are designed to sell new support for older archetypes, but people who play the older archetypes don't really care to buy the boxes because they're just going to buy the singles, because the new support for the older archetypes are very likely high rarities. So it feels like a really bad way to market anime to people who buy, physical card game, basically. Because why would anyone want to buy these sets if you could buy singles for the specific support that you need, right? And it has anime on the box cover, but again, like, why would anyone want to buy these boxes? As much as you like the anime, it's not like you want to buy these packs, right? You could play these older archetypes, but why would you want to like gamble for like support? And also, these decks are not very good, typically. To be fair, Baron was the only card keeping that pack relevant, though. The water set was known for helping Umi and Marincess become rogue in the first place. There's your competitive value. Yeah, but then it helps them become rogue, right? It's not, like, busted. Droplet reprint. Yeah, they probably throw in, like, a few treats here and there. Droplet, maybe an Imperm. Baron de Fleur is very generic good support for a lot of archetypes, right? Some folk like gambling loot boxes, Yeah, but there's already gambling loot boxes. There's already other boxes that you could buy, right? This is like a different product. And I feel like it's no wonder it's not doing well. It just doesn't... There's not that much of a business proposition. There's not a lot of... How would you say? There's not a lot of incentive to buy these. They're insanely difficult to pull, and they're very short printed. Yeah, that sucks.
That is insane. But is this just a Legendary Duelist set issue? Is the composition of those sets messed up and wrong, and that's just making them bad? Yes. Yes, there
that
is,
sounds
but
like
it's not the only set that's struggling. While they are the absolute worst offenders of the last few years, nearly every Yu-Gi-Oh set released this year is losing value from its release. And here's the big issue I was alluding to. While I was pondering making this video, I saw a post on Instagram by Beckett Castle TCG, which seems...
Lorcana? Product line update. Okay. Let me read this real quick. For Yu-Gi-Oh, if we have made the unfortunate decision to discontinue carrying Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh shit, okay. In our opinion, the market rates for boxes at release are just absurd, and we are losing thousands per set. We have our current product in clearance on our website with extreme below cost discounts. For example, Soul Burning Volcano released this past Friday. Our average cost is $48. They are selling on TCG for $35. Fees and shipping are another 30% of that. Duelist Nexus had an average cost of $61 and are selling for $53 before fees and shipping. This is not sustainable. We will carry Yu-Gi-Oh! Through the 25th anniversary rarity collection on November 3rd, but that will be our last set. Our apologies to our Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. Come clear out our clearance. Dang. Okay. I think they're trying to market and create different products and sell anime. and it's just not doing well because they don't really understand how to sell those boxes. But even then, despite that, they're not talking about the duelist sets. They're talking about other boxes too. Is it less interest? Is it overprinting? I guess it would be overprinting because there are basically too many boxes out there that could be sold by online vendors. And if there are too many boxes out there per demand, then yeah, they are overprinting. And then you have like secondhand retailers selling it for cheaper because they're just trying to get rid of the product that they thought would do well, right?
Seems to be a TCG hobby store of some kind. I don't follow them, but someone shared their post and it piqued my interest. They posted a product line update with 3 different TCG updates. One of them referred to Yugioh. They wrote, and I quote, "We have made the unfortunate decision to discontinue carrying Yugioh. In our opinion, the market rates for boxes at release are just absurd, and we're losing thousands per set. We have our current product in clearance on our website with extreme below cost discounts. For example,
That's
Burning
crazy.
Volcano released this past Friday. It's literally been a week, guys. Our average cost is $48. I assume that means per box. They didn't say that. They're selling on TCG for $35. Fees and shipping are another 30% of that. I think 30% is a little high, but we're going to do the numbers after this. Duelist Nexus had an average cost of $61 and are selling for $53 before fees and shipping. This is not sustainable. We will carry Yu-Gi-Oh! Through the 25th anniversary Rarity Collection on November 3rd, but that will be our last set. Our apologies to our Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans. Come clear out our clearance." Now, obviously, that is an extremely sad thing to read, that a hobby store that is literally the blood, sweat, and tears of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, that's where you go to play. That's where you go to find your product at your local place. You see your friends there. You, experience all the new decks and everything before you go to like a YCS and stuff like that. And they're literally unable to buy and sell the product because it's too expensive. They claim to literally be losing thousands of dollars.
I mean, this is a recent thing, right? This is a recent turn of events, right? Like, is it too much to say? Is it really too much to say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at its most approachable state, but not from a paper standpoint, but from an online standpoint? Is it too much to say that people are like quitting paper in favor of Master Duel just because it's easier to afford, the being able to play with anyone you want, right? Being able to find a game as fast as you like. It's very accessible on Steam. It's accessible on mobile. Is it really too much to say that like Master Duel is kind of bleeding in and taking customers away from paper? Because this is just very, very recent. It's been a build-up, I think. Yeah, I could see that for sure, right? Because apparently the Mako Tsunami set didn't do very well, right? The Mako Tsunami set didn't do really well, so it has been building up, but it might be like Master Duel could possibly have been like the nail in the coffin. Quitting paper sounds like someone quitting an addiction. Well, it's not too far off, right? I don't think the player base struggles. It's more the vendors having the issues of getting product out. Well, why do they have problems getting the product out? It's because the player base doesn't want to buy the cards, right? They don't want to buy the cards, so they don't. Then the player base does have a problem. Trying to be greedy. Do you really think that could be the case? Like, for whatever reason, this retailer, this local game store, jumped the gun and decided to buy a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh product for whatever reason for this one, for this duelist set. Do you feel like what would cause them to change their behavior such that they would overinvest and get burned super hard? Like, you could tell me, yeah, they were trying to be super greedy, but what prompted that decision? There's proof before a different set. I'll show it to you. Okay, show me that later. Sure, the game on paper wasn't slowly losing players before. Yeah, no, I feel like it would, right? That's my opinion of paper card game, is that paper Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like is on the decline. Nostalgia has a time limit, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a very high skill floor. It's very unapproachable. It's hard to teach new players. It's hard to create new players, and they don't really have a lot of push to create new players, right? So it only makes sense to me that paper would lose players, and this seems to be more proof causing that, or support in that, right? It's a core set. We lose thousands per sets. It's not just this one. It's been the case for 2.5 years now. Slowly degrading, and Konami saying now there's a minimum price for products. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Then I'm more inclined to agree with, like, Faye. I don't know if I'm inclined to agree, like, all of a sudden, these local game stores are suddenly greedy. That's why they overinvested and got burned for it. I feel like it's a decision, and I would say it's a pretty hard decision, too. I feel like it's a hard decision that they came to after realizing they have been losing money on multiple sets. I think the core issue is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is more competitive than it's ever been, so if I can't take these new cards to an event and compete, there's not much interest in the set at all. But the problem is, Ken, is like, it's not just this set. It is core sets too. Apparently from Gabe, it's also core sets, right? But there's multiple sets that we're talking about. So it's just people not buying Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not even necessarily just these duelist sets, and that's what this video is trying to say. That's what Ruxin is trying to say. It's not even just the duelist packs or duelist sets. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. They're not selling. This store is not saying, oh, I'm discontinuing duelist sets. They're saying, I'm not selling Yu-Gi-Oh! After November, which is a pretty big statement.
It depends on how many cases they're buying and everything, but they're losing hundreds to thousands of dollars. This
right, it depends on how many cases they're buying, okay.
Just a bad thing for Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. If these hobby stores, who are literally the most passionate people in the world about Yu-Gi-Oh! And other TCGs, can't afford to buy and sell the cards, who is gonna sell them? I know a lot of people think stores do not buy for as much as I buy. Like, I buy a box for 60, stores buy them for 30. That is not true. Distributors do not sell boxes for $30.
Okay.
They sell them for what they said was 48 on average for Legendary Duelist. We're gonna estimate $45 on Legendary Duelist. We're gonna do $55 on core sets, which they said was
$55 on core set. Okay. Per box in a case. And a case has how many boxes? Case has 10 boxes, right? 12. Okay. So let me see over here. So they're saying, okay, I'm like taking notes here. So, okay. Okay. Let me clear this. So we are saying he's assuming $55 per box with regards to the core sets. And he's saying $45 per box, he's assuming, regarding duelist sets. Right? That's what we're doing? And this is within a case. And if you're bumping that up to 12, right? 12 times 55. He's saying a core set box is equal to $660, right? A core set case is equal to $660. That's what they're getting from the distributor, and that 45 times 12 is 540. Am I understanding this right so far? If he's assuming that this is the cost per box, right? And they buy in bulk, they buy with cases. This is how much they're spending per case. Right? Right? All right.
Was like 61, I think, which is probably closer to reality, but we're gonna do 55 just to give them a little bit of 61, I think, which is probably dollars on Legendary Duelist. We're gonna do $55 on core sets, which they said was like 61, I think, which is probably closer to reality, but we're gonna do 55 just to give them a little bit of a chance, right? We're gonna see if that $55 a box, can they make money? We're gonna assume.
Okay, so he's even lowering the cost, right? The assumed cost, to see if they are able to make money, or to mitigate some of the loss. He's thinking that it could be like $61 per box within a case, but he's going to lower it down to $55 to try and give them more of a chance to see if they're making money. Okay.
That they're selling on eBay, and there's going to be eBay fees and then shipping costs. Let me show you just how dire this situation is. First set released this year, Amazing Defenders.
Okay.
Selling for $55. First of all,
that's market price. Everyone's selling for 55 bucks, right?
That's how much it costs from distributors. So we already know we're going to lose money on this one. After that,
oh no. Okay. From distributors, it's $55 per box. Okay, and then he's going to
whopping 13.25% eBay fee plus 30 cents. You got to add in that 30 cents and a $5 per box shipping. They're making $42.42. So each box is losing about $12.50. Multiply that by 12 boxes, you end up losing about $150 for a case.
Do they have to? So wait, he's saying that from the distributor, he's getting it for 55 bucks a box, and also he's selling it for $55 per box. And then when you add in all the fees, right, he's only netting $42. Am I not understanding that correctly? Each box is $12.50. Yeah, 55 minus 42 is around $12.50. So he's rounding down. They're losing $12.50. Yeah, okay. If they sell at that price. Okay, got it. All right.
And a local store is probably going to be buying at least 10 cases, maybe even more. That's a $1,500 average loss. The second store is probably going to be buying at least 10 cases, maybe even more.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's a $1,500 average loss. The second set, one of the best sets of the year, Photon Hypernova. That's got to be making money, right? These are selling for just under $60, a little bit better than Amazing Defenders. With the $8.25 eBay fees plus the $5 shipping, they're netting about $46.75. That's not $55. They're now losing about $8 per box, which is now...
Okay, so he's saying market price is 60, they're buying per box is 55, right? And adding up all the fees, this is their net. So they're losing $8 per box.
$96 a case and about $1,000 per 10 cases. Maze of Memories.
Per 10 cases. Okay.
This set surprised me. It's $61 a box. It's actually doing better than Photon Hypernova. Still at a $48 net though. Losing $7 per box, $84 per case, and $840 per 10 cases.
Damn. Okay. I mean, this all seems sound, right? I mean, I don't really see where... I don't know, where there could be something wrong here that you're not considering. Shipping, eBay, maybe you don't sell on eBay, but even then, like, the market price isn't that much. And I guess where it could fall apart is, like, how much are they really getting it from the distributor, right? He's assuming the cost from distributor is $55 for core sets and $45 per box on dual sets.
Per case and $840 per 10 cases. Cyberstorm Access. Now we're really looking poor. $51 a box, $39 net after all the fees and the shipping and everything.
Yeah.
Losing $16 per box, $192 per case, and nearly $2,000 per 10 cases.
Okay.
Wild Survivors, they're at $50 a box, $38 net, losing about $17 per box, $204 per case, 2 cases.
These are all
10 cases.
core sets.
I think collector rare sets may be cheaper. I'm not totally sure because I don't have a distributor, but I think you might be able to get those at a little bit less. So maybe the losses aren't quite as bad there because they might be like 50 a box, but even then they're still losing money there. Battles of Legend Monsters Revenge, always a banger set. Battles of Legend is a hard carry for stores, $61 per box, so it's the same thing as we saw earlier, about $840 on a 10 case. You're losing about $84 per case and $7 per box. Now, LOB 25th anniversary, they reprinted.
He's going with eBay instead of TCG Player and Card Market, either of which would have been more accurate. Well, what are the fees for TCG Player and Card Market?
The first set ever. It's got to be doing well. And guess what? It is actually doing well. $79 average cost per box.
Okay.
They're making about $63 after fees and shipping, $63.25. Profiting about $8 per box, $96 per case, and $1,000.
And if it was like $61 per cost, right? They're only making like $2.25 per box. Okay. The set's relevancy hurts, like Hypernova was Kashtira. Currently, Kashtira is in full power, and it's being assumed most that it'll finally be hit on the list. I see.
$1,000 per 10 cases. That's a banger. It's one of the best sets of the year, and it was just released. But guess what? It was released in July. The first set in the entire year that a store is making money selling on eBay. Oh, but I forgot to mention, you probably had to buy the MRD and SRL and all those with LOB, and let's see how those are doing. MRD is at $58 per box, which is a $45 net, losing $10 per box, 120 per case, 1200 per 10 cases. There goes all the profits just from Metal Raiders, and I'm sure Pharaoh Servant and Magic Ruler / Spell Ruler are not doing much better. Duelist Nexus, 52 per box. We kind of saw this one earlier. They said 53 per box, so they went up a little bit more generously for the price.
So he's saying, what he said just there, right now, if you guys didn't catch it, is that you can't just buy per box, right? You have to buy like multiples. You have to buy different sets as well. You can't just pick and choose like which sets you want to buy. And also, you would have to be able to predict reliably how well these sets will do, when pretty much all you have to go off of is maybe OCG, right? And still you would have to guess like what cards would be inside the pack and what the rarities would be, right? It's a product line. Yeah.
Price, $40 per box after fees. Losing 15 a box, 180 per case, 1800 per 10 cases. And finally, the stinker of them all, the one that really inspired this video, Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano. They only have to pay $45 a box instead of $55 here, so you think that would help. They're $35 per box right now. After fees, it's $25 a box. They're losing $20 per box. Right now.
What?
They have to pay $45 a box instead of $55 here, so you think that would help. They're $35 per box right now. After fees, it's $25 a box. They're losing $20 per box.
Wait, how is it 35? Oh, wait, it's selling for 35. Wait. He said it's selling for $35 per box. Oh yeah. We saw the screenshot. Holy.
Right now, after fees, it's $25 a box. They're losing $20 per box, $240 per case, and $2,400 per 10 cases. $2,400. That is insane. After seeing that, you might want to say, well, they get to avoid all the shipping fees and everything and the eBay fees because they have a store. They can sell them in store, right? That's true. They can do that, but they're not going to sell nearly the volume most likely. And even if they do, only Photon, Hypernova, Amazing Memories, Battles of Legend, Metal Raiders, and LOB are selling for more than $55. So all those other ones are still losing money even if they have zero fees. And don't forget credit card fees and stuff like that they have to do when people swipe their card in their store.
Yeah, because, I mean, people are going to come to a store, right? And they're not going to buy. Why would they buy from a local game store if they can get it cheaper online, right? So you could sell for like a little more expensive in your store, sure, but you're just not going to sell that much product, right? And for like how much net are you getting? Even if you get rid of the fees, right? They're still not getting that much. The market prices don't really go up above $60, even $65, right? And most of them are lower. Most of them are lower than the cost. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, most of them are selling for lower than the cost. Because it's faster, you're paying more for convenience. I'll be honest, like, yes, for me, when I did buy paper cards, right, that was a thing, but I don't think I feel like you're still not going to sell that much. Well, I mean, at the very least, the proof is in the pudding, right? They're not selling that much. Even if they are saying, oh, you could pay more for convenience, right? It's faster, you don't have to wait for shipping. At the end of the day, they're not selling that much. They're not doing very well with that. So, you know, obviously the problem is still there.
Store. And all those sets besides LOB that are actually profiting are only making $3 to $6 per box. Is that going to cover those credit card fees? Is it going to cover their overhead, like their rent, their employees? No, definitely not. Now,
there's so many costs to running a store, right? Like you said, overhead, employees, credit card fees, right? Keeping the business, keeping the building, right? The lights on. You're not going to be making that much selling, like, what? You're spending $61 a box and selling it for like $65, right? And that was only one of the sets. That was only one of the sets they were making maybe a $4 profit per box, right? That's not going to cover it. Konami needs to change their MSRP if they want these vendors to sell product more effectively and efficiently. Yeah. I mean, something needs to change. Something needs to give.
Some of you might be thinking, wait, Ruxin, why don't the stores just skip the sets that suck? Like, okay,
yeah,
I see that LOB is going to be a great set. I'm going to buy a bunch of LOB, and that's it. I'm not going to buy anything else. Here's why. First of all,
that's just not how it works, right? You have to buy a whole product line. You have to, I'm pretty sure you have to like subscribe to the product and buy multiple different sets. And also, you can't really know. You can't really know what the market price for these boxes will be, what the demand for these boxes will be prior to buying them, right? When do you fill in the order? It is probably like months in advance, right? So that is just like a ridiculous ask.
They have customers. They have people in their store that want to buy the new set. So that's an obvious first thing that you probably thought of already. Here's something you might not know. Distributors give an allocation of boxes for each set. So if you want to buy a lot of LOB and you want to buy like 100 cases because you know it's going to be awesome, they might only allocate you 5 cases. And so you only get to buy 5. Man, that sucks. And you know what else sucks is you might be able to buy a lot more for the bad sets because not as many people are buying them. But if you happen to say skip that set, they're not going to allocate you as much on the next good set. So let's say,
yeah, right. It's like when you're reviewing games or whatever, right? If you are known to be like a very harsh critic for games, right? And you're, you know, a journalist, you have relationships, you are able to like, you know, get these pre-release copies, right? But if you're known as like someone that's like a really harsh critic, you're not really going to be getting, you know, that many offers to play a game early. Right? Because why would they take a chance on you, you know, reviewing the game badly? And why am I mentioning this in light of like this for this scenario? It's because, well, if you're not going to be buying that much product for like the worst sets, even if you could determine if it's a worst set or not, right? Why would they sell you more product for subsequent ones, right? Why would they reward you for picking and choosing, right? Your relationship is obviously not very favorable. So they're going to give more boxes and more sets to the stores that sell them effectively, that move them, that buy more from them on a regular basis. That's just how that would work, right? So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that they're in a really bad position.
Say before LOB, you didn't want to buy whatever was before that, like Cyberstorm Access or something, and you bought 0 of that one because you're like, that's a stinker. I don't want that. When they get to LOB and you go for 100 cases, they might give you 2 cases instead of 5 or 10 or whatever it would have been. So stores feel pressure to like follow through with each new set to buy stuff so that they can get the good ones when they show up. Now, I say all this we've been talking about not to just like say, let's go to
because Konami wants to sell these boxes too, right? They want to sell these cases. They want to move their product, and if the stores aren't going to buy like the whole line, then they're not going to be rewarded. You have to buy in.
Our local store, let's get them a tip jar, let's put our entire paycheck in there so that they make some money. That's not what I'm saying this. I just want to bring up the point that Konami is printing too many sets and they're reprinting too many cards. There are just too many sets to keep up with. Look at this release schedule from the last few months.
There's way too much supply to meet up with the demand. People don't want that many cards. They don't want all these reprints. And like everyone's been saying in chat, right? There's just not a lot of competitive viability, I guess, in these recent sets. So they don't want to buy the cards. And if they don't want to buy the cards, then it's fucked, right? Then yeah, the stores are totally getting like ass blasted out here.
Wild Survivors, June 2nd release. Battles of Legend, Monsters Revenge, June 23rd release. 5 Legacy box reprints at once. July 14th release. Duelist Nexus, 2 weeks later. July 28th release. Legendary Duelist Soul Burning Volcano, August 11th release. That was back to back to back every 2 weeks. And that first one had 5 releases at once, so just throw that in there. I didn't even mention the OTS release on July 19th, so I mean, that's a forgotten thing. There's an OTS set too with more reprints, which honestly, that's probably a good thing because that just gives people access to, you know, higher rarity for playing in tournaments. So that's probably not something we need to be concerned about, but it's just another thing that's happening. There's so many things.
I mean, they're still printing more cards than like people want or need.
coming out in quick succession that players barely have time to like catch up with their decks, play in the meta. I mean, you got to be buying and selling as even a player just to pay for your deck if you don't have like a crazy income, because you don't want to pay $2,000 for your deck to play in the next YCS tournament. And collectors like myself barely have time to even attempt to pull the newest Starlights or 25th anniversary cards before a new set drops 25 more of them. I literally open product for a living and I can't pull half of these 25th anniversary cards before there's 25 more of them. And don't get me wrong, I love that there's a lot of high rarity cards. I think it's awesome, but if you're just a regular guy buying like one box and you're trying to collect all the cards, pulling them, there's just absolutely no way. And if you're like buying them, that's 25 times like an average cost of 100, $2,500. Like, that is insane. And having so many of them out there kind of like lessens the awesomeness of some of them. Like, we're getting to the point where like X-Tox Hydra is a 25th anniversary card. Like, does that need to be a 25th anniversary? Can we just have like 10 bangers or 5 bangers and, you know, call it a day? I personally think Konami needs to scale back the releases and give each set some room to breathe. This will allow cards to find their current place in the meta, whether they're good, they're bad, whether people want to invest in them and actually play the deck for like maybe a month or two instead of 2 weeks.
I know I'm not talking a lot right now, but I'm kind of like thinking of like the overarching problem, right? Like, this is not necessarily the problem of what is happening with Yu-Gi-Oh. What this is a symptom of the problem. And so I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I'm trying to like figure out or reason as to like, why are they overprinting these sets? Why are they re-releasing so many cards? Why are they doing so many reprints, retrains, and like supporting older archetypes? Why are they having trouble selling these sets, right? And so I'll try and give my thoughts at the end of it.
It'll allow high rarity cards to be actually obtained for collectors, and it'll give time for the sets to actually sell for a reasonable price for the local stores. They won't have to be selling at a huge loss for every single set just to move their product, get the cash flow to buy the next product. If Konami were to carefully craft every new set, which I'm sure they are carefully crafting them. I know people at Konami are working hard on these sets. They're trying to make them as good as possible. But if they had an extra like month or let's say, instead of every like, you know, 3 sets a month or 2 sets a month, we did 1 set a month, they'd have twice as long to work on it, perfect each card that needs to be high rarity, that needs to be low rarity, that needs to be playable, that needs to be like a nice common that actually might be valuable in a couple of months when they release a new set. They just have time to balance everything even better. I think this would help keep local stores alive, which in turn would keep Yu-Gi-Oh alive, which obviously we all want to see for years to come. I hate saying this because I actually do love new releases, and they're great for me because I get to make tons of content out of new releases and some of the best performing content on my channel. But I am afraid that all this awesomeness right now might slowly choke out Yu-Gi-Oh in the long run. Let me know what you think about this problem in the comments. It's a little bit of a different video, but it was something I've been thinking about for the last few days, and I want to know your opinion. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Shout out to Toe Info Show, Daxter, JT Cho, Puffins of Doom, Ernesto Deanna, America Deutster, Supreme Sage 21, CJ, Leo Gwine 62, Another Tai Show, Ian Musa, Junior Barney, Mimic Gecko, and Robert F. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Cool. Great video. First of all, I want to say that was a great video. Thank you, Ruxin34, for making it. That was really good. I am going to talk about like my thoughts about it. Give me a second. Go ahead and if you enjoyed that, you know, click the link, subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video. I definitely think he put together a lot of good information. As far as that goes, right? I do want to talk about it though. I feel like, because I feel like this is just a symptom of a bigger problem. I really feel like all of this, I feel like it all comes down to what I've been saying before. I really do. Like, you could print new great cards, triple tactics thrust. You could print out new great archetypes, Kashtira, right? A Rise Heart. You could print all of these things, right? But at the end of the day, people are not really excited to buy them, right? Or rather, they're only excited to buy the really OP stuff, right? But as far as like Speed Duel, Legendary Duelist, Duelist Nexus, Battle of Legend, right? Wild Survivors, nobody's really excited to buy them because these cards aren't OP, right? They're not breaking the meta, right? And these are the more recent sets. Well, what did you used to have to fall back on when, you know, card design, archetypes, monsters, when these things didn't break the meta? What did you have to fall back on before in order to sell your cards? You had anime. Okay, well, this Rain set that came out recently, right? This set that has support for anime archetypes, Balan Boxer, Salamangreat, Volcanic, right? These are old anime archetypes. You have these sets selling the anime archetypes. They're trying to sell it. They're not selling it though. And so if you're not selling new archetypes, you're only selling the OP archetypes, and you can't resell these like support for older anime stuff. I feel like it all just boils down to what I've been saying before, is that people are losing interest in Yu-Gi-Oh! People are losing interest in Yu-Gi-Oh! People are moving on from Yu-Gi-Oh! You're not creating a new audience. You're not selling new cards. You're not selling these new archetypes, Vanquish Soul. Because, like, why would I want to buy Vanquish Soul? What would initially bring me to buy this set, right? This monster, right? Before, you know, you would talk about like Altergeist, right? I feel like I get a lot of people asking me, oh, like, play Altergeist, Rednu, play Altergeist. I'm like, why would I want to play Altergeist? They're just weird ass little like robot waifus. Why would I play this? Well, it turns out Altergeist is an anime archetype. Altergeist is an anime archetype, and it's played by Emma Besho, who's like mommy ninja. She's super hot in Yu-Gi-Oh! And people pretty much only like Altergeist because it is played by this character. So, anime sells cards. Anime sells archetypes. When they don't have something that's meta-breaking or defining like Kashtira, anime is what they have to sell these archetypes. And so when you don't have anime, then you're clearly not selling as much. People aren't interested in buying like Vanquish Soul off the bat, right? They'll see the new set, and people who are veterans who already are into the game will buy them. But you're not driving product, you're not getting new people to buy your stuff. I like Live Twins even if no anime character played them. What the heck is that logic? People like Altergeist only because of Ghost Girl? I'm not saying people like Altergeist only because of Ghost Girl. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that anime helps you sell them. And yes, you could like archetypes that aren't anime supported. That is totally valid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that now you don't have that. You don't have that additional push. You have lost this part of your sell, right? And when you're losing this critical part of your sell, you're not going to sell as many boxes. And that's as evidenced by these sets and how they're performing. I feel like people are losing interest in Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like the only people who are only interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! At this point are people who've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, who've grew up playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's like I've been saying, nostalgia has a time limit. If people aren't coming back for these sets that include support for older anime archetypes, the only thing you have to sell is are the designs for the new archetypes that don't really have the anime to fall back on. When you have power creep, that sells, obviously. But when you don't, these sets, they don't do well. Did they used to do anime first, then cards? Maybe that's what they should do. Well, see, that's the thing. They're not making any more anime. The only anime out there right now for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Go Rush. This is the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Actual problem indeed. If shops can't profit off Yu-Gi-Oh!, they will not operate at a loss. No, they won't. The Megatins have flopped multiple times in a row. This time, they gave us back checks. Oh, gave us back checks notes. One whole promo. Rarity collection costs 1.5 times depending where you live. There's so much to digest. Yeah, no wonder they ain't selling shit, Lamau. I mean, that's a ridiculous drop. The original price was $107. So you're saying that this store, for whatever reason, wanted to sell for $107 per box, and now they're selling for $47.99. That they were wanting to make this greedy play of selling this for a lot higher than MSRP for whatever reason, and now they're what? They're stuck with this product. The thing is, they only sell this at this price because the previous boxes were such a huge loss. This is their last bid, is to sell this box at a much higher price, and hopefully someone will buy it to make up for the losses that they've already accrued, that this product has already shown to have because it's not doing well. It's not all of a sudden magically overnight they decided to become evil corporate greed. It's a symptom of what has happened.